basic architecture what I have planned to implement. But this is also my like 10th time recording the video. I hope this time I complete successfully. Anyway, so this is the application that I had planned to implement. This is how I started. I actually made the skeleton first on draw.io, and then I actually went afterwards to Amazon to implement all this. So a couple of things here. It is the basic, a typical web application where with a private subnet and a public subnets, and your main web app, it's the client is in a public subnet behind a load balancer, and your database is only authorized to specific people through instances in a private subnet. Also, as you see, it's elastic ACS service used for persistence, which unfortunately Rosetta Hub doesn't support. So I later realized like Rosetta Hub doesn't have this service. But then anyway, I had made it a plan of made it as a part of my architecture, so I just let it be there. And I actually tried to use it through my other Amazon account, and it works fine. There is not much configuration needed here. Whatever configuration coding is needed, it's on the data store from the node server, and that is out of the scope for this assignment. And anyway, so basically I have public private subnets. There's a CloudFront caching server which caches all my HTML, JavaScript, and CSS files and images, which are served from an S3 bucket. So S3 bucket is a primary storage for my static content, which are served to CloudFront caching, from where it's sent to other public facing connections. And this is how my server, this is how my project looks like. This is I'm running in my master instance. So it's nothing fancy, just a simple web application using a database and uh, a normal node backend. So all these queries are working, submit queries are working. However, I haven't go fetch the data back. The data gets posted to the server. I didn't, I'm not calling the data back because I thought, it's, I don't need to show the data what's on the server. But if you can if you want to verify it, you can actually log into an instance, since the database is in a private subnet, and can MySQL and see the data posted from here. These images and stuff are served from CloudFront, and you can verify that using, I think you should be able to verify it. Yeah, so you could see the all the JS files and static files, like all this sort of from the CloudFront.net server. So all my other static content here are served from the same CloudFront stuff. So that's the website I have. Initially I had planned, I would be able to load the bombard the load balancer with requests and instances by using the front end itself, so I don't have to, like, the reviewers don't have to use the console at all. But then I made some changes, and then I have to scrap the entire application and start from scratch, which made changes in my endpoints, and it was too late for me to go back then because I had dockerized my application and everything. So if and then it was a time constraint, so I could not go back. So this, for now, they don't send traffic. They do send traffic, but then not to the correct URLs. And then so that's why I have to do that from a command line. Anyway, so my main application is deployed using a node server backend and Docker, which you can prove. This is my main instance here. This is my autoscale instance, I guess. This should be my, okay, I'll just run docker ps. So this is my instance container running right now. That's my node application running on port 3000. However, I don't know if this is my master instance or autoscale instance, which I can verify. Okay, this should be my autoscale instance because my master had folder scripts in it. Yeah, this is my master instance. Anyway, so that's the basic application with a backend deployed in the private server, front end in a public server behind a load balancer, and all the static content is served from a caching server. And then there was no ECS, otherwise we would have Redis implemented. I would actually implement Redis caching. Whatever query or session token you submit from here would process in the Redis server. So whenever, if there is any unexpected situations where, like, if the session is lost, the session key can be retrieved back from the Redis server. Ideally, any queries made from the front end first look for data in the Redis server, and if it's not found in the Redis server, it would ask from the database. So that's basic, but that's how all the typical web applications are. And coming back to my EC2 console. Okay, so the structure is here really traditional. Nothing extraordinary happening here. I have created my own VPC called assignment VPC, and for the sake of this assignment, all my VPC subnets or AMIs, they start with assignment one keyword, and this is my one VPC with public and private subnets. I think I'll have three public subnets and couple of private subnets. Then they have incorporated with the route tables, and there is an integrated gateway. So that's just a basic setup, which I think you guys can be able to verify if you log into my account. And I haven't really got into network ACLs or NATing. So my main issue was my database should be in a private server, and then at the same time it should have internet connection to uh, connect with my EC2 instance, with my web server, and not to the public. So there are two ways of doing it actually. One through NAT gateways, and secondly through security groups. So found the security groups way more I think more efficient in terms of configuration. So I went through it. So I have a security group for database which allows traffic through my DB port, that is 3306 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's a DB port. The and there are a couple of other security groups for private and public subnets. There's a private security group which doesn't allow outbound traffic. There's a public subnet which allows all traffic, and this is the very general configuration here. In terms of setting up an architecture, like you have your own you have basically a main VPC, then multiple public and private subnets, and your sensitive data or the data which needs authorized access are kept in a private server, and public facing like web app or the front end, your client, basically it's stored on a public server, including all the images and static files which are served from S3, which is also in a public subnet. That's about VPC, and let me go back to my instances. Yeah, so I have my 5 instances running right now. This is actually not auto scale. I have changed the settings because I wanted to taste and I wanted to demonstrate load balancing and stuff. So I have this instances running, which I would probably terminate afterwards. And these are my master. This is my master web application, and that's the AMI of the web application. And there is general load balancer, target groups. So to achieve persistence, like one of the points in the grading rubric says that you should have persistence and other stuff implemented. So there are a couple of ways of doing it. One is Redis mem cached, and secondly sticky sessions, which I have enabled for me. And then there is a Redis server because I was not able to use ECS. There is no Redis server implemented here, but in the real world application it would be. Right now I enable sticky sessions, and there is general launch configuration. Yeah, actually there is a tweak here because my application runs in a Docker, and then again Rosetta Hub doesn't support containers like ECS containers. So there was the ideal way of deploying a container in AWS is through the ECS container thing. But then since Rosetta Hub doesn't support it, I have to manually, like made sure whenever an instant boots up, I have to start my daemon, I have to start my Docker daemon, and then build and run an image. So that went as a part of my user scripts while creating an AMI. And there are security groups, would be public, as public, private, DB security groups. I think we went through security groups. There is load balancer happen. There is a load balancer, and there is law. Okay, there are scaling policies, very generic scaling policies. Basically, there's one condition that if something goes high, you make an instance. If something goes low, really low, you delete an instance. So right now I'm monitoring two things: this high network traffic and CPU utilization, which we would test in a bit if they both are working fine. And these are my CloudWatch alarms. So the internet is not working again. Yeah, it's working. So this is alarm for low network traffic. So if ideally my scenario was if the network traffic is below particular bytes, I would delete an instance. But right now I need an autoscale instance to demonstrate stuff. So I have taken out the delete privileges, so there would be no instance deleted in the current scenario. So you just see the 5 instances running regardless. Also I like to show my database instance. So if this is my database instance and it's read replica available, you could try logging into it. There are database details. You could try logging into it and check the whatever query you made would be available here. So these are my this is the road RDS read replica. That's ideally a way you scale your you I think vertically scale your RDS database. And I haven't selected it should be in multiple AZ zones, but then due to price constraints I haven't selected multiple zones. But that's how it is. If your main database gets bombarded with the request, so read replica is utilized. And this runs in a private subnet, so you wouldn't be able to access it through your MySQL workbench from your local computer. You have to log in into an EC2 instance to access it. um, then let's check out load balancing. So for load balancing, I'm going to use this auto scale instance, and I've already logged in here. That's my auto scale instance. Yep. So there are basically a couple of scripts I have already made here to test my auto scale instances. One of which, I think one of my scripts disappeared. I need to rewrite the script. There is stress CPU, there is custom metrics, but there is no script for load test. Let me try again. Custom metrics CPU, okay. All right, notice I'll log in from my main instance and do it. cd scripts, I'll go to the scripts folder. And there is this load test.sh is the script which basically sends multiple requests to my load balancer, and then and checks how the packets are distributed and logs it as a response. Those responses are stored in txt files like they're here. So what I'll do is I'll delete this txt files first. rf. Now there are no files. I'll go ahead and run this load test.sh. Let's see what the data it gets for us. So load test, obviously I'll include all the scripts in my report, but let's see the data they have for us. I'll cat load text.txt. Yeah, okay, so that's the data it logged back after sending multiple requests to the load balancer. If you analyze the data, you'd see the requests are distributed in a round robin fashion, like EU West 1C, EU West 1A, then there is 1C, there is 1B, it's 1C, 1A. Okay, if you analyze this data, you would see how the data is being distributed uh, across all the available zones in a round robin fashion, as AWS puts it. And there's one more file created for us, that is response.txt. That's basically nothing but it just helps me send the queries to the database, like overload the database with the queries, so I get a chance, but for the next query to get a chance to distribute the load. So that's nothing important, but it helps us getting this data here. So you can see the load is properly distributed, and it just uses a script, and the script is nothing fancy. It just uses a couple of curl commands to get the data and store them into a file. So that's load distribution. And I think we should go ahead and check the alarm. I think we should go ahead and test the alarm, not check the alarm. So basically, for testing the alarm, I use a tool called Stress. It's one of the Linux EPL utilities that we use for stressing the CPU. Like like according to the labs, we could write a while loop and test it. That's also fine. But Stress, the utility Stress, is it my auto skills? Yeah, I'll test it from here. Yeah, so the Stress is a command line utility for testing the CPU, and it does give you freedom of writing how many cores you want to test, or at what percentage you want to boost the CPU and other control. So I'm using a tool Stress tool for it. So if I execute the script, it's basically overloading my autoscale instance with multiple requests. So ideally I should get an alarm that my CPU is utilized at certain rates, because my average rate is around 50 or 60 about 50 or 60%. So I should get an alarm that my CPU utilization went high, and then it wouldn't launch an instance because I haven't really allowed it to do that, because there are already a number of instances running. But I should get an alarm that my CPU utilization went high, and this would take a couple of minutes. By that time, let's test something else. So this stuff can already be tested. There is nothing. I've honestly just went through the marking rubric and then have tried to do stuff so it matches the criteria there. And as long as second part is concerned that Python doing the additional functionality, I obviously use Docker and my Docker is running fine, it's properly deployed. So you could view Docker images running and the Docker is doing working as it's supposed to be. In my sleep my command is completed here, so I should get a notification in about a couple of minutes. Anyway, so my application is Dockerized and it's running as a Docker app. And second part of the application, I thought that's it says you should scale a database backend. So as long as I know scaling a Redis database, there is not really much information about it on AWS, except they do auto scaling of your database and then you have to create a read replica. That's all about it. So I guess that does for backend scaling. And also I have tried doing Python Boto. So what Python Boto does is, yeah, so that's my Python Boto script. So the problem I get with the script right now is Rosetta Hub doesn't allow IAM permissions, or not Rosetta Hub. The documentation says IAM roles are not allowed to. So I've tweaked around with this command here, tried to put my own URL, but it wouldn't just allow me to take an action like like stop the instance or reboot the instance. I'm allowed to create an alarm, put the alarm to the server. I'm just not allowed to take an action. And there are quite a few others who are going through the same. So I'm not sure if it's me or if it's the uh, Rosetta Hub's account that doesn't allow us permissions, that doesn't allow to take doesn't allow to take these actions. We'll test the script in a bit. Let's see if the CPU, if we get a notification for high CPU utilization. Not yet. Low network traffic is alarm because there is no network traffic, but then I can increase the network traffic using my command line utility. Oh, I should, it should be here. Load test. Yeah. So this is the utility I load. This is the npm module used for load testing. It gives me the freedom of specifying my request per second and the concurrency of the request. So I like this tool. It's simple and it does its job. So I'm using this. Let me just check my URL given is correct. 34 yeah. So I'll try load testing a server. So I should be probably getting two alarms, one for high CPU utilization script which I ran here, and then second for high network utilization which I'm going to do now. Let's try running the script. It will start sending the requests. Let me see if my CloudWatch is updated yet. Also my internet is really slow, so I'm not able to get these things working in real time. There's actually a lot of things to taste and a lot of I just keep on forgetting what is to do because slow internet speed just adds on to it. And this is like the first time I'm recording, so I'm probably nervous as well. There's no internet connection. Yes. See, I got the first notification. My CPU utilization is showing now, because I run the stress command. It stressed the CPU. Now the utilization went high. It's taking time to update because the internet is slow and stuff. But it should now. Here I'm sending second other request. If this stops, then it would probably allow me for high network usage as well. So the way how I have this policies configured is, if the network requests go beyond particular threshold, then you launch an instance. If it's my network is not being used, then you delete. Okay, delete an instance. It will be updated in a bit. By the time we see something else, what else is remaining to me for me to show? So photo, yeah. Oh, okay. Also, so this is my custom metrics alarm here. This is my custom metrics alarm. So I learned about actually how to use AWK to print the data and stuff. So if this alarm have my own, like I check the current ports and average CPU load, then there is some logic here to check the utilization. So but I haven't really configured any alarms for them. but it basically it just to prove that I understand what's happening, and then I know how what actions will be taken and how to actually write the scripts, custom scripts. So let's try running the custom scripts. I actually included a custom script here in my auto scale instance. Yeah, but I already pushed it once, so let me try pushing it again. If I push it again, it will probably override the existing scripts. I'm not sure if I, because I've been like recording video. This is I think my 10th time to record the video and have to repeat all the steps all over again. So there is a lot of unwanted data in here. Like see, custom metrics are 23 when they're supposed to be only like 6 or 8, because this all repeated. It's all repeated again. Anyway, I wouldn't be pushing my metrics this time again, because see, I pushed it first time. It shows total processes here, and then also this next time another one, total processes. And then probably if I push it now, it will be third time. So it would show like, see, for my auto scale instant test, the process went up to 93% at this point of time. So these are working, they're showing the data it's supposed to be, and I haven't really added them to the cron job, but if I add them to the cron job, I will be able to get them to send data whatever time I want. So my network traffic here, it's still working, and internet really is the problem. I'm just afraid I shouldn't miss out anything, because there's like so much things I've done, and I'm not able to show all of them. Okay, so this is a custom metric script which I'll include in the document. It works, it runs. All the scripts are in my instances. All the scripts are with my instances, and I'll actually add them in my document as well. So if you guys doubt if they don't work, you can actually go ahead and test all of them, because I'm pretty sure I've tested all of them. And this is the Python boto script. Let's try pushing an alarm. So CPU have very high CPU utilization. This alarm doesn't exist. I'll push it now. Only if my internet worked properly, I would be able to. Okay, so my command is still executed for high network traffic, I guess. Yeah, let this command get executed, then we will be able to see that notification. Anyway, if I run the command, if I run and start a new tab, my computer is hung. I think the network requests are complete. I'll just stop the request here. Maybe this is taking a lot of my CPU power. Let me go to my desktop and let me try running the script alarm.py. Import stb name http import no model found. This is working just fine. I'm not sure why is it not working now, but I'll probably push the script later, because I'm already 25 minutes in, and then I don't want to. Okay, so you can see there's one more alarm. It would be of high network traffic, because I just bombarded the server with too many network requests, so it showed me an alarm properly. So my network load balancers and alarms are working as it's supposed to be. And I would also get an email. Yeah, incoming network traffic. I get notifications for the same. So this is it, I guess. If anything is remaining, I'm pretty sure I missed out on a lot of things, but I'll try and add all of them in documentation, including all my script, because there's a lot of things going on here. Like there are other scripts and then stuff I haven't implemented, but I haven't demonstrated, but I will certainly include them in my application report. So this is my main server, which is supposed to be work. Okay, my internet is not working at all now. Yeah, it's working. Anyway, so I think I'm already 24 minutes into this. I'll try to trim the video, but if I can't, you just guys have to deal with this. I'm sorry, I'm like doing this for the first time, so I can't be super proficient. This is the architecture I implemented actually, if not for the caching part. Anyway, thank you so much, guys.